Welcome back. Like, share, subscribe.
A whisper. I checked every door and window on the ground floor, all locked from the inside, just as they had. I crossed the basement, using my phone's flashlight to supplement the dim overhead bulb. When I reached the metal box, I pulled it open and scanned the switches. None had been tripped. That's when I heard it. Footsteps upstairs, directly above me. Slow, deliberate steps moving from the living room toward the kitchen. I stood frozen, listening. My parents weren't due back for 2 more days. I hadn't invited anyone over. Those footsteps didn't belong to anyone who should be in the house. And they were getting closer to the basement door. My phone chose that moment to die. 1 second the flashlight was on. The next I was plunged into darkness as the battery gave out. I hadn't even noticed the low battery warning, too distracted by everything else. The footsteps stopped, directly above me, where the basement door was located. I pressed myself against the wall, trying to control my breathing. Seconds stretched into minutes, and nothing happened. No door opening, no more footsteps, just silence. Eventually, I gathered my courage and crept to the bottom of the stairs, looking up. The basement door remained closed, the light from the chain pull bulb casting a faint glow up the steps. I began to climb, as quietly as possible, 1 step at a time. I paused at the top, ear pressed against the door, listening. Nothing. With a trembling hand, I turned the knob and pushed the door open just a crack. The kitchen was empty and completely dark. I distinctly remembered leaving lights on upstairs. I always do when I'm home alone at night. Heart pounding, I slipped through the door and fumbled for the kitchen light switch. When I flipped it, nothing happened. I tried another switch. Nothing. Every light in the house appeared to be dead, yet the microwave clock still glowed green in the darkness. 4:44 a.m. I didn't remember it being nearly that late. The smart thing would have been to leave the house, go to a neighbor's, call the police. But some combination of pride and disbelief kept me there. This was my home. I didn't want to overreact to what could still be explained away. That's what I told myself as I navigated through the dark house using memory and the dim light from outside street lamps filtering through the windows. I made it to the living room and found the TV was on again, static. But quieter now, almost a whisper. I checked every door and window on the ground floor, all locked from the inside, just as they had been. No signs of forced entry, no evidence anyone else was there. I was simultaneously relieved and disturbed. Relieved because it seemed I was indeed alone. Disturbed because it meant there was no rational explanation for what I'd heard. I settled on a simple solution. I would stay on the couch until morning with all the doors in sight. I found the remote wedged between cushions, had it been there all along, and tried turning off the TV again. This time, it worked. I wrapped myself in the throw blanket from the back of the couch, keeping the front door and kitchen doorway in my sightline. Despite my nerves, exhaustion eventually took over, and I fell into a fitful sleep. I dreamed of static, of voices speaking just below the threshold of understanding, of standing in my bathroom, watching a handprint appear on the mirror from the other side. I woke with a jolt as sunlight streamed through the living room windows. For a moment, the normal morning light made the events of the night seem distant and ridiculous. I sat up, rubbing my face, ready to laugh at myself for getting so worked up. Then I saw them. Wet footprints on the hardwood floor, leading from the front door to where I lay on the couch, not coming from outside, going from me to the door, as if someone had been standing over me while I slept, then walked away. But the footprints weren't mine. They were much too large, with a strange, elongated shape to them, and they glistened in the morning light, still wet. I followed them with my eyes to the front door, which was now standing open just a crack. A door I knew I had checked multiple times during the night. That's when I heard the static again. Not from the TV this time, from my phone, which was now sitting on the coffee table, fully charged. It was open to the voice recorder app, which was running. With shaking fingers, I pressed play. Static filled the room again, but within it, unmistakably clear this time, was a voice. My voice, exactly as it sounds to my own ears, not as it sounds when recorded. "I'm inside you now," my voice said from within the static. "I've always been here, waiting." I dropped the phone like it had burned me. The recording continued to play, filling the room with static and that voice. My voice, but not, saying things I never said. Things about what it was going to do next. Things I can't bring myself to repeat. I ran, Out the front door, down the street to my neighbor's house. They called the police, who found nothing unusual in my house except the open door and those footprints, which they photographed and measured. Probably someone played a prank on you, the officer suggested, though she looked disturbed by the recording when I played it for her. Change the voice to sound like yours to scare you. I nodded and pretended to believe her, but we both knew that didn't explain the footprints, or how someone could have recorded my voice saying things I never said. My parents cut their trip short and came home yesterday. Last night, I slept in my childhood bed with my dad's Louisville Slugger baseball bat beside me. The house was quiet, normal, no static, no footprints, nothing to suggest anything had happened, except for one thing. This morning, I looked at the photos I took of those wet footprints, wanting to examine them in the rational light of day, with my parents safely nearby. But in every photo, where I know the footprints had been, there was nothing but a blur of static, and if I look very closely within that static, I can almost see a face. My face, staring back at me, waiting.
Thanks for watching.